Hey guys, welcome back to my Colourful Country Life. Today we're going to be doing a progress flip through of our full book Colour Along in Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford, and this was a requested video, so today we're going to take a look and see how far we've come and also what we still have left to complete. And my cover here is looking a little worse for wear, please ignore that. I really miss the days when Johanna's books came with the dust jackets, and I used to just take them off while working on the books just to keep the covers pristine. A lot of this can most likely be erased though, but does anyone colour their book covers? I have seen some done and they look really good. I don't know if I could bring myself to colour my own though. So today this will be a bit of a chatty video, but if you do prefer a silent flip through, I have popped one at the end of the video with just some music, and you can skip to that using the timestamp I will pop in the description box if you wish. So on that note, let's get started. Let's open her up. Now, I'm not planning on colouring the inside covers. Maybe I'll change my mind at the end and colour the keys, but we shall see. The title page. I've thought about this one quite a bit actually. I'm leaning towards doing something a little bit different here, and no green leaves. I know, who even am I? But that one should be fun to colour when we get to it. The publisher info and nameplate pages still blank as well, but I think they'll be quick ones to colour once I get to them. I am toying with the idea of matching the nameplate page to the title page, and I think it'd be really fun to have them in a matching theme as well. Okay, so here are our first two finished pages. These were actually way more enjoyable than I personally expected. Repeating patterns are actually quite calming to work on for me. I loved using a smaller set of pencil combos too for all the tiny details. You guys know me, 6 to 7 is an average for me. So these combos were all like 2 to 3 pencils, and it was really satisfying, and I actually really enjoyed the colour palette as well. I would love to know if you guys enjoy repeating patterns as well. Oh, this one. Okay, so this background took forever. It is around 3 layers off the top of my head of Inktense, which did make it a little bit of a labour of love, but I adore how it turned out. It kind of looks like a texturized paint effect in the background, and I think the shadows that I've created around the objects as well gives the background some real depth to it. I think each side took me close to 2 weeks, so per side. It was a huge job, but it was so worth it. I think it looks really great at the end result. I added in the flooring and the skirting board as well. And this background, that sort of texturized look, it reminds me of, I think it was it early 2000s when people were painting like feature walls in their homes? Everyone had to have this feature wall and it had that sort of like texturized effect. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, so the lost property pages, they still need to be coloured. I have thought about colouring 1 item per day as a sort of mini project, but with 60 tiny images, that would turn into a very long series on the channel. I think I'll do them all in one go as maybe like a 2 or 3 part series, or 4 parts perhaps. There's a lot to go there. The craft rooms. Okay, so I went with some pretty pastel tones for these, and I added in these circular borders to help frame the images, and I feel like doing that helped tie the 2 pages together since the opposite side already has a border as well. I feel like I used a lot of mixed media on these 2 pages as well. There's Albrecht Dürer's, Polychromos, King Art gel sticks. I think this was my first time using the King Art gel sticks, and I love them. I really do need to use them more actually. And a whole heap of gel pens as well. So they were really fun to colour. Oh, the sewing mandala. I completely forgot about this page actually. I love how it turned out, and the colour palette I used really helped make this page a lot more interesting to me, at least, to colour. I do need to colour the other page soon. I picked the mandala colours with this page in mind, so I will carry the same palette across. and I'm thinking a dark warm wood for the furniture and shelving, and I want to create a soft glow coming from this lamp as well, maybe using it as a focal light source for the page as well. This one might be our next colour along in this book actually. I completely forgot about that. I do love that page and I love that colour palette too. Our first lock and key pages, these are so adorable. Just like the intro pages, actually, it was really enjoyable to focus on the small repeating elements on the pages. And I am especially fond of that peachy red paired with the aqua. It is such a pretty combo. Our first wallpaper page. There's quite a few wallpaper pages in this book actually. This one I kept to a limited palette, and rather than colour it as if it was wallpaper, I imagined the flowers growing outdoors. So with the blue background acting as a sky, I've also added in some soft red tones near the flowers to suggest a little bit of depth to the page as well. And if you are curious about the supplies I've used on any of these pages, I do list everything in the Rooms of Wonder playlist here on YouTube, so you'll find all the videos, and under each video you'll have all the pencils I used for all the different combinations, and all the mediums are also listed on my Instagram too under each post for each picture. So the playlist for this book will be linked in the video description. Okay, these two were done earlier on in the full book colour along, and unintentionally I've ended up with opposite seasonal palettes. One is light and spring-like and the other more autumnal. I used Distress inks for the sky in both of these pages as well. But this one has some added colour around the flowers to make it feel a little bit fuller down the bottom. And on the other side here, I drew in a stone wall, some grass blades and extra plants. Though clearly I was not thinking much about perspective when I was drawing these extra elements. The flowers have ended up bigger than the trees and even bigger than the house. Maybe it's like a little tiny fairy house and the walls are made of little pebbles, and then you've just got these cute little plants. That works, right? See, I can't draw, so if you have a look at the video for this, I actually traced them out of a different, I can't even remember which book. It was a different Johanna book. Yeah, next time I might have to think a little bit more about my perspective, I think. The Toadstools, one of my very first pages that I coloured in this book, and I think still one of my favourites. And perhaps surprisingly, the wallpaper side was also a joy for me to colour. I matched most of the Toadstools from the main page, but I added some blue in here as well just to keep it interesting. So similar but not identical. And again, it is a repeating pattern, so I did enjoy that. I know not many people did when they were following along, but yeah, it was a fun page to get completed, and I really like the end results. And I've got these little soft clouds in the background as well. One thing I am learning about myself in this process is how much I do love repetitiveness. I think for me it's very mindless, or should I say mindful, that once I've created a palette for one part of the pattern, I can just enjoy placing colours on the rest of the page without giving it any more thought. So it's nice and relaxing. Okay, so these pages are giving me spooky Halloween vibes. Such a fun atmosphere to create. Maybe we'll leave this one for October and we can make it really moody and fun. Add in some really fun, spooky Halloween details. Lots of like deep, dark purples and blacks and stuff, I think. Or maybe some glowing elements. We could use our neons in this page. The aquarium. I think this is one of my most favourite pages that I've coloured in this book, and one of my favourite pages that I've ever coloured actually. I love the bold, bright colours, but I really enjoyed creating this background. The cracked brickwork I think is so effective, and I imagined the scene as being set in a basement, which inspired the sort of crumbling plaster, cracked wall brick effect. Think industrial, think piping. That was what was in the forefront of my mind when I originally saw this page. And for that sort of brick effect, I used a stencil, and then for the cracks, I used one of my Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, and I think I've added in a little bit of pencil there for some shading too. But that whole technique is part of this colour along video, which is up on the channel. I'd also love to know what your favourite page is out of the pages in this book that we've coloured so far. Let me know down below as well. And if you are following along with the full book colour along, what has been your most favourite page to colour so far? And what did you like about it as well? I'd love to know. Was it the process of colouring it? Was it the end result? Let me know down below. Okay, so this wallpaper page, it was a little bit of a struggle. The colour palette was based on the Haunted Mansion wallpaper from Disney, and I used Inktense for the background. At the time, it seemed like a smart idea. Since the pencils can get into small spaces really well, I thought, okay, this is going to be the best option. But in hindsight, soft pastels or distress inks would have been less of a chore. This took so long to colour. I was over the page before I'd even finished the background, I think. Because I was going to go over the main elements with this black combo, I could have gone over the background with either the distress inks or even soft pastels. I wouldn't have had to worry about masking because this black combo would have coloured over the top of the distress inks and covered it up. It is darker than my usual style, but I am glad I gave it a go. I think I did another Inktense background right after this one as well. So clearly I did not learn my lesson right away, but I did learn it. Later on in the book, you'll see that. So, okay, so these next two pages are more of my favourites. I love these soft pastel tones, even in the colourful clouds here, and the honeycomb too. That was especially fun to colour. And I think these pages look so good next to each other. Two of my favourites from this book. Okay, we've got office pages here. I still need to tackle these ones. Fruit pages, not my favourite subject to colour, but these will probably be among the last I finish, I think. Oh, this one. Okay, so Johanna ran a colouring contest with this page, and my Instagram feed was absolutely flooded with stunning entries. After seeing so many people's versions, I have held off doing mine. I think I just need to clear my head of everybody else's creativity first so I can put my own spin on this page. Is that just the one page? Yeah, okay. Another pastel palette here. I love how these balloons turned out. I think they look really good. It is one of the more simpler aspects of this page, but I think they turn out really nicely. And I love this sort of grey-blue colour too. I am thinking that I might mirror the other side with similar tones for a balanced look. I am enjoying seeing pages that are next to each other complement each other when I flip through my book at the moment. I originally had different ideas for this page, like rich reds, maybe even rich greens and metallics, but I think it'd be really fun to attempt it with the pastel tones. So, and they'd look nice next to each other. All right, I've gone with opposite palettes again here. I still really like this spherical design. Even though there are so many individual elements, it does feel cohesive. I think the background helps to like tie everything all together as well. Now this page here was not the most exciting page for me to colour. I am super happy with how the sky turned out though. And weirdly, the chimney is actually one of my favourite details. I feel like the stonework came out so realistically. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I kept it at such a minimal colour palette. Maybe if I'd added some different colours in there, I might have found it a little bit more interesting. Plus, Johanna has just plopped it on the page. If she'd given me a little bit of background details, maybe even just some trees and some ground, I think that would have made it a lot more interesting for me. And yes, I know I could have added those details in, but I don't want to have to add my own details in. I just want them there. I just want to sit down and colour. Yeah, so... Oh, now we're up to some more recent pages. And I actually thought these might be a little bit uninteresting to colour at first, but I ended up loving them. That deep burgundy colour paired with the dark green is such a rich combo together. They really complement each other beautifully. And yeah, they were really fun to colour. I know I've said that a few pages I thought were a bit uninteresting at first. And then once I started to colour them, I had a lot of fun. Okay, so we've got the dressing room page. In part one of the colour along for this side, I show you how I incorporated washi tape into the page. So we've got it on the top of the stool here and also on the wallpaper or the panels in the background. Honestly, I think the pattern and the colours that I chose fit really well with the rest of the scene as well. I'll definitely have to do this again somewhere else in the book. It's been ages since I've used washi tape on a page. And for the matching page here, I pulled colour combos from the dressing room side and reused them across all the little vignettes on this side. So I did create these sort of soft backgrounds as well, just to reflect the main tones of the page. There's blue, green, peach, dusky purple, and I've used them in each little segment as well, so it ties them all together. I wasn't sure how this spread would come together at first, but it ended up being one I really enjoyed working on. I enjoyed repeating the colour combos actually, which helped with the page cohesion and was also great for mindfulness as I didn't have to think about colour choices. And I think the page as a whole looks really good. And I love those colour combos together, the green with this sort of dusky purple and the blue. I think they look really pretty. And the peach as well. Let me know if you've tried incorporating washi tape in your pages before too. Let me know down in the comments. The dressing room page, the other dressing room page or wardrobe page, this one's still on the to-do list, but I think this one would actually be perfect to play with washi tape again. I can already imagine using pattern tape for the fabrics or adding like little tiny floral prints on some of the clothes. I love the idea of adding texture and mixing my media like that. It's just something a little bit different that can really make your pages pop. Should we do another washi tape tutorial for this one? I'd probably use it more on, I think on this page. I prefer to use the washi tape on like white spaces, because if I'm using it on something that already has a pattern, you kind of got to white that pattern out, otherwise sometimes you can see it through the tape. But I think that might be a really good fun page to play with patterns and stuff. So another wallpaper page. This one was so much more fun than the Haunted Mansion style page. I used soft pastels for the background this time and it was super quick, much easier on the hands. I've said it before, but I do love a good repeating pattern. There's something so satisfying about it and it gives you a great chance to explore colour harmony as well. So this is a really fun page and it is sort of a limited palette, sort of just different shades of pinks. And then you've got that sort of bluey green leaf as well. That was a load of fun. I do remember at the time though, I've got the silver border around here. I remember at the time tossing up between silver and gold. I think the silver sort of blends it in and makes the flowers pop. I think if I'd done the gold, it would have brought more attention to that. Still would have looked really good though. Either way would have worked. Okay. Still to do. I have been thinking of this one. I think it'd be really fun to create like a soft vintage tea room vibe across both pages, or maybe some soft pastel tones, even a rich Victorian tea parlour look with deep reds and golds, maybe even a wallpaper or a wood background to tie both the pages together. What do you think? Do you think pastel tones or do you think like Victorian tea parlour colours? And then if I do, I'm just thinking if I do like a wood panel background here, I would do it going this way, but would it match going this way? Would it even work? Because why would you have a wood panel background? It'd be more likely to have shelves. Just thinking out loud. I really would like to do a wood panel background, I think, on that page. We'll see. We shall see when the time comes, because I might come up with something brand new by that stage. Oh, the outdoor shower page. I love this one. I honestly cannot remember if this was my first page in this book or the second. It was either this one or the Toadstool pages, which was my first one. But I remember how excited I was to get started on this page. And according to my family, I am the crazy plant lady. And honestly, having a shower like this outdoors, surrounded by all those beautiful plants and greenery, would be a dream come true for me. I could actually do this here on the farm, but snakes, they do love the water. I don't want to be attracting any more snakes than I already see right now. I also love the water effect that I created here as well. And these sort of fluffy clouds of bubbles, it's like someone has used way too much soap and it's just all overflowed, but in the best way. And the treehouse bedroom, I went for a really soft, airy feel for this page. It felt peaceful, like a little treetop getaway. I am really liking using softer palettes in this book actually, rather than my really bold, vibrant, usual colour palettes. I really like these pages too actually. I think these 4 pages together, so the last 2 and these 2, make a really cohesive little set. They all share the same sort of dreamy, whimsical vibe as well. And this Underwater Tea Party has a more muted, limited palette. It's actually become one of my favourites in this book as well. It might not look that colourful and exciting, but I think it's really pretty and I love the finish of this page as well. And then there's the Rainbow Room, which took me straight back to my childhood. It has total Care Bears energy. I will say, however, I'm not entirely sure why I made the clouds yellow. I guess it worked with the colour scheme, but looking back, maybe I'd go with a classic white or even a soft lavender maybe instead. Still, I do love the overall look and I had fun with it, but perhaps I would go with a different cloud cover next time. Is that a full pencil background? I think it is. Don't do them often these days. Oh, the cakes. I had a lot of fun creating all the different cakes on this page. I love the light blue countertop and the silver cake stands. It really gives that sort of pretty boutique cake shop vibe. And the background, I used a gradient of dark to light colours on the background just to sort of give this illusion of flooring here. So the counter isn't just floating on the page here. Now, I did carry some of the colours through from the other side just to tie the pages together. But if you go back and watch the colour along for the cake mandala page, you will notice it looks a little different now. I wasn't completely happy with the original palette and it was actually my least favourite page in the book for a long time. However, when I finished working on the other side, I decided to go back in and revamp it a little. So the simple change of colouring the ribbons blue, brought in these soft blue tones from the other side as well. And because the ribbons sit behind the cakes, they really help make the cakes pop and bring them forward. So they become the center of attention. I also refreshed the pastel background. So the original one was a little bit too soft to make any impact. So deepening those colors really helped bring the whole design to life, and it matches with the opposite side of the page as well. Okay, so now we have some industrial metallic style pages. I will admit, colouring lots of metal is not my favourite subject. I'm not usually drawn to steampunk style pages or overly mechanical themes. I do prefer brighter, bolder palettes. I coloured the right hand side first, and when I came back to do the left this month, I added a little bit more colour just to keep things interesting. I was tempted to add a border over here and maybe a background as well to tie them together like I did on the burgundy and green lock and key double page spread, but in the end I have decided to leave them as they are. If you remember back to before this book was released, I was saying that I was going to colour this book from front to back in order, find the lock, find the key, and continue through the book page by page. I think that actually, obviously it did not happen, but I think that actually would have been a great idea, because what I'm realising now is I coloured this quite a long time ago, and now that I'm colouring this page, and I think, when did this book release? I think it was like 2022 or something. So you've got to, 2022, and it is now 2025 when I've coloured this side of the page. So my colouring style is always evolving. And if I colour one side and then I come back later on, a year or two later, and colour the other side, they are going to look different, which is why I think I'm feeling this need to go in and make amendments. But I loved it at the time and I completed it at the time and called it completed, so I won't be touching it. But yeah, I think if I had coloured the book from front to back like I had originally intended, then I wouldn't have those issues, and you could actually see the progress from 2022 to 2025, which would have been fun. But I don't know if I have it in me to colour a book from start to finish. Okay, what's next? So we have some more metallic elements. I think these metallic animals will be fun to colour. We can add a lot of colour onto these pages too, I think. And then we have the machinery set up for making all of these fun potions as well. There is a lot of metal here, but I'm hoping to balance that out by bringing in some vibrant colours across the potions and the glass jars. I haven't quite decided on backgrounds yet, So that'll be one thing to think about before we start these pages. These 2 pages are yet to be coloured as well. Lots of different objects on these pages. This one feels very old-timey. The kitchen pages, I've almost started on these 2 so many times. And I think I've had about 5 different colour palette ideas in my head. Each time I've gone to start, it's been a different colour palette. So who knows what that will actually look like when we finally get to it. Okay, the magical potions. This page was so much fun. The combination of purples and blues and greens give it sort of a mystical feel. Purple is actually a colour I feel like I don't reach for that often. So it is nice to step outside my usual palettes. And I think I've reached for purple quite a bit actually in this book. So yeah, I've brought the colours across, but I've added in this sort of like terracotta colour as well. So like on a few of the pages, brought them across and then added something a little bit extra. So they're similar, but not quite the same. The mailroom. Okay, this one has always given me serious Harry Potter vibes. But I really do. I love how my stonework came out. It adds some texture to the page and I think it looks so realistic. I love that effect. I'll have to have a look back on my video and see what colours I used actually, what colour combination I used for that. For the wallpaper side, I wanted to keep the mail theme going and I've seen these clever 3D circle effects before, so I adapted the idea to create little postage stamps instead. It's definitely a little bit different, but I still feel a little bit unsure about leaving some of the elements uncoloured, but I did enjoy experimenting with that page. It's just I'm used to colouring every single item on a page. Okay, dining with the plants. Now this is my kind of restaurant. I wish I could draw well enough to add a full lush rainforest background to this page. Or actually, to be honest, I wish Johanna had done it for me so I didn't have to. I really do love detail pages where I can just jump in without having to plan extra elements. But that one's still on the to-do list. Same with this one here with all the gems. Okay, so here I added in some shelving and these lights as well. I imagined this page as a close-up version of the shelves on this side of the page too. For the jars, I used 2 different colour palettes. One was a little bit more fresh and summery, the other a bit cooler, but I brought a few colours across to both different colour palettes just to tie those colours together as well inside the jars. But if I were to colour this page again, I think I'd stick with this sort of summery tone through all the jars just to keep a more unified look. I think it's really bright and pretty. Yes, I would have used these colours on all of them, I think. Okay, I love the birthday cake page. It's very festive and colourful, even with the mix of both muted tones with the pastel tones. I also used a bunch of gel pens on this page too, which added that perfect touch of sparkle that I love to have. I haven't coloured the pineapple yet though, mostly because I feel like it needs a background. I just haven't decided what to do. Honestly, I don't want to add a background, so we'll see. There's no background on this page, so I think I can get away with no background on that page too. But then we just have a floating pineapple and a floating birthday cake. Yeah, but we don't always have to add backgrounds. So now we have musical instruments. I think these pages may be amongst the last ones I colour as well. Okay, now we have the telephone and the bubble bath. All these bubbles I added to the background, they took forever. And I do have a colour scheme in mind for the telephone page, but it won't match the tones from the bubble bath. I kind of wish I used a different colour palette for this so it would match with the telephone, as now I am really enjoying having the matching pages. But I am putting it off just for now, just in case I think of a fun way to connect the two and to bring those colours across and make them look cohesive. If not, I will just do that how I feel like doing it and they just won't match. There's no problems with them not matching that, a double page spread. And finally, we have this little last page. It is just a key, but it is a pretty one. It won't take long to colour. I'm actually thinking maybe a distress ink background just to give it an aged paper look, and then going with like a antique style palette for the key itself. And that is it. That is where we are at. So that is our colouring book so far, our full book colour along. I feel like we're definitely getting closer to the finish line. It has been such a lovely journey working through this book. And like I said before, if you are working through this with me, I would love to know what your favourite page has been to colour as well. I think I will be doing the sewing room page next, like I mentioned earlier. But if there is a page you're really keen to see next, definitely let me know in the comments. I love hearing your ideas as well. And I will now pop up the silent flip through for those who prefer a peaceful scroll through all the finished pages. But before I do, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been joining me on this journey, whether you've coloured along with me or just watched for inspiration. I really hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So stay safe, happy colouring, and bye for now.